Please join us.
Okay.
1, 2.
Please join us in singing All That I Need.
All that I need comes to me.
Come on, let's go.
All that I need comes to me. The light of love and grace shines upon my face. All that I need comes to me.
I've been set free.
I've been set free. I'm released.
I'm released.
I've been set free. I'm released. The burden of my past has gone away at last. I've been set free. I'm released.
Sweet rain.
Sweet rain that washes me clean.
Washes me clean.
Sweet rain that washes me clean. The mind creates all things, into my life it brings. Sweet rain that washes me clean. All that I need comes to me. All that I need comes to me. The light of love and grace shines upon my face. All that I need comes to me. The light of love and grace shines upon my face. All that I need comes to me, comes to me.
Good morning, my fellow awesome spiritual beings. You guys laugh, but you know that's the truth, right? Yes. You know that's the truth, right? Yes. Cool. Well, good morning. My name is Ron, and I am here to welcome you to the Unity of Walnut Creek. It is my privilege and honor to do that. Our featured artist this week is Heart Dream. Thank you so much for your spiritual ministry. And guess what? They have a new CD. Yeah, so if you feel inspired, please see them on the table out. And this is all their other CDs are out there too. So thank you for doing that. Now I invite you to turn off your cell phone or turn it to silence, as we may enjoy this sacred service together. And you know what we get to do now? We get to say hello to our brothers and sisters online. So please turn around. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you very much for being here. We really appreciate your presence with us. And please know that you are a powerful part of our spiritual presence on this planet. So thank you for being here with us. So unity is a positive path for spiritual living. Yay? Yes. Yo, bro? Oh, come on. I know it's been a while. Yo, bro? Yo, bro. Awesome. All right. And here at Unity Creek, we have a mission. And the mission is this. In loving community, we empower spiritual growth by modeling and teaching universal spiritual principles. And I invite you to join in me in affirming our statement of faith. And so what we're going to do, we're going to take a deep breath to get ready to do this. And as we release this breath, we're going to say thank you. Okay? Let's take a deep breath. into your heart and release and say thank you. Yeah, and let's say our statement together. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, the all-loving goodness of God. Yeah, amen. Or as it is, should I say. It is time to welcome our newcomers, and so I invite the ushers to come forward, please. If you are with us for the very first time, please raise your hand so an usher may bring you a welcome packet. Cool. Have one down here, a couple of them around. Great. And if you would rather not raise your hand, you may pick up a welcome packet at the welcome table across the courtyard. There is a connection card in your packet. Please take it to our bookstore to receive a special gift. We hope you'll choose to stay and meet some of us on the patio after service. So thank you for your presence with us. And the connection cards are also available for everyone else in the seat pockets in front of you. With this card, you may submit a prayer request, and our prayer team will pray with you throughout this week. You may also share feedback and request information. Please place your card in the basket with the offering. And now it's huggy time. This means you get to meet your brothers and sisters if they want to hug.
Give me love, give me love, give me peace on earth. Give me light, keep me deep in bliss. Give me hope, help me cope with this heavy load. Trying to touch and reach you with heart and soul. Take hold of my hand, that I might understand. Won't you please, oh, won't you
join us?
give me love, give me peace on earth. Give me light, keep me deep in bliss. Give me hope, help me cope with this heavy load. Trying to touch and reach you with heart and soul. Take hold of my hand, that I might understand. Won't you please, oh, won't you give me peace on earth. Give me light, keep me deep in bliss. Give me hope, help me cope with this heavy load. Trying to touch and reach you with all heart and soul.
Hello, my name is Casey, and we have several activities to highlight this week. Would you like to immerse yourself in nature and gain valuable spiritual insight? Oh, yeah. Yes. Join Reverend Kristen for the Summer Soul Vision Nature Retreat on June 28th. Today is the last day to register. You may do so at unityrisings.org. The CARE Network invites you to volunteer to provide a meal or a ride for who? For a congregant in need. No long-term commitment is required, and we have congregants in need of our support now. Your Board of Trustees invites you to meet with them next Sunday, June 30th, about after the second service. Join us to learn about our community's financial well-being, facilities, and progress on important projects. The meeting will include a vote to release money earmarked for solar to be used for drainage. We'll also, that's not the only thing we're going to talk about. We'll also provide a quick review of how to use Unity Connects, which is a great resource for connecting here at Unity. Please see your bulletin or our website for more information about these and other events at our center. Thank you.
Thank you, Casey. So now is the time to prepare for meditation, and C.L. Gerke, one of our prayer chaplains, is going to share with us a prayer reading followed by some music and guided meditation.
Today I'm sharing a classic Unity prayer, the Prayer of Faith by Hannah Moore Cohouse. It first appeared in the Unity children's magazine, We Wisdom, in 1898. It was a favorite of co-founder Myrtle Fillmore. The Prayer of Faith. God is my help in every need. God does my every hunger feed. God walks beside me, guides my way through every moment of this day. I now am wise, I now am true, patient and kind and loving too. All things I am, can do, and be through Christ the truth that is in me. God is my health, I can't be sick. God is my strength, unfailing, quick. God is my all, I know no fear, since God and love and truth are here. Our thoughts are prayers, and we are always praying. Our thoughts are prayers. Listen to what you're saying. Seek a higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness, and know that God is always there. And every thought becomes a prayer. Our thoughts are prayers, the tools that we create with. Our thoughts are prayers that Spirit resonates with. Seek a higher consciousness, a state of mindfulness, and know that God is always there. And every thought becomes a prayer. Our thoughts are prayers, and we are always praying. Our thoughts are prayers. Listen to what you're saying. Seek a higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness, and know that God
So we rest our attention on this space between our thoughts. And then noticing as the thoughts themselves arise and pass through our minds. There is a deep well of prayer in the being, in the stillness, even in that little pause between thoughts. When we align ourselves here, then the thoughts that arise from this place are like beautiful blessings. Prayers that raise up our bodies, our minds, and our hearts, all in alignment with the divine. Blessings that go out into the universe. Notice what you are praying. The thoughts that arise. Sacred and the mundane. And then let them rest and be still as we slip into the gaps between them. As we rest our whole beings in the sacred silence together. There is prayer in the quiet pause between the thoughts. And there is a prayer in every expression. The words, the truth behind our coughs. We thank you, God, for the realized truth that is everywhere present for us, in everything. We celebrate it all. Every thought, every word, every action, sound. We give it all over. And then it is with a conscious oneness that we release into the world our blessings. Blessings of truth, of kindness, of healing and wholeness. We take comfort in knowing that all is God, all is good. And then we let it go and think it up again. Thank you, God, for the wholeness that we are, for the actions and the words, the thoughts and the feelings, and the sacred pauses in between. And so it is.
Seek a higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness, and know that God is always there. And every thought becomes a prayer. And every thought becomes a prayer. Sitting in the stillness of my heart, I close my eyes, going deeper within. Asking for help, I stand in faith, letting the symphony of love begin. Raindrops fall in a clear crystal bowl. Every chord harmonizes my soul. From my dream I awaken to sing. Gratitude and thanks for everything. Violet blue aura in my third eye gives way to dazzling brilliance of light. My inner eye opens near to you. Songs of ancient wisdom arise and flow through, and I melt into the ecstasy of grace, surrounded by love in God's pure
Raindrops fall in a clear crystal bowl. Every chord harmonizes my soul. From my dream I awaken to sing gratitude and thanks for everything.
Raindrops fall in a clear crystal bowl.
Don't you just love that song? It's got that beautiful, ethereal feel. I don't know. Sometime I need to hear the story about the genesis of the creation of that song. But sure, will you share it with us? Yeah.
Well, Steve and I were sitting at the top of Mount Haleakala in Maui, which I hear you're going to. It's a very sacred space, and we were meditating, and we just felt this light all around us. And then in the distance, and I have a picture of it on my phone, and it's on our new CD, actually, one of our CDs, actually. There was suddenly a spiral rainbow in the distance, and the sun looked like the head of an angel, and the wings had these two auras around it, like this. And we had chills going up and down our spine, and the rainbow zipped right up to us like a flame. And we were just amazed and just like going like this. And tell about the photos.
So when we looked at the photos later upon closer examination, we saw an image of one of our spiritual teachers, Sant Keshavadas of India, who had actually ascended from the earthly plane some years before, and then also some images of other departed devotees who were there with him.
Right, so the song just flowed through us from that experience. So
Wow.
it's truly amazing.
Wow. Glad I asked. Thank you. Wow, beautiful. You just never know, right? You're sitting on a mountain and then something happens. You're walking to the store and something like that happens, you know? And it's about being open, isn't it? About being willing, about being present. The mystic Thomas Merton's famous prayer begins, "My Lord God, I have no idea where I'm going. I do not see the road ahead of me. I cannot know for certain where it will end, nor do I know myself." And Anne Lamont's version of this prayer, "Dear something, I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm getting more lost and afraid and clenched. Help. Help. A one-word prayer. Help. So we're starting a mini prayer series today, three weeks. And I know that many of you know or are familiar with or have heard before that there's a 5-step unity prayer process that Charles Fillmore initiated, or maybe you know the Science of Mind prayer guide for prayer practitioners, or if you've taken my prayer classes, you have a little yellow card with the anatomy of affirmative prayer. And at some point during this series, we'll go there, but today we're going to draw from the simplicity of Anne Lamont's ideas about prayer. She has a little handbook. She said it's the three prayers you need. It's all you ever need. Help, thanks, wow. Pretty much wraps it up, doesn't it? And often we don't talk about how potent that prayer is. Help, that simple prayer, right? So I've been at the Unity Convention this week, which has been amazing. In fact, it's my very favorite one ever. And it was really, really powerful. John's shaking his head. John Rexroth was with me there. And I was so proud because John is, I don't know if you all know, but not only is he our bookkeeper here at Unity of Walnut Creek, but he is on the committee for budget and finance for all of Unity Worldwide Ministries and has served in that way for a very long time and recently was asked to be the chair of the new benefits team. So, yeah. So he's getting quite well known in our movement. And this is the People's Convention, by the way. So it's something that's open to everyone every year in June. And it's really a beautiful gathering. It gives you an opportunity to get to Mecca, which, is, of course, is Unity Village headquarters. And sometime we'll take a group there, too, on our own. So anyway, I digress. But I want to tell you a little bit about this powerful prayer, this one-word prayer, help, and the power of asking for help. So it's interesting, some of the things that happen, in the ways that you don't expect, right? So one of the highlights from my convention will sound very strange as I begin to unfold it. So I walk into the bathroom one day, and I hear somebody on the other side of the stall talking to housekeeping. And she sounds like she's got a little distress in her voice, and she's saying, well, I'm trying to call my friend, and I can't get out of the stall right now. But I will free it up as soon as I can, and as soon as my friend can come help or whatever it was. And so I said, I didn't know who she was. I didn't know if it was somebody from the conference or not. It doesn't matter. And I just said, hey, do you need help with something? And she said, there was this pause. And then she said, yes, I do, actually. I said, well, I'm here. I'm part of Unity's group, just to create some familiarity, And she said, okay, come on in. She opens the door to the stall. And it turns out she'd been at the end of a terrible stomach flu, and she thought it was over. And she had soiled all of her clothing, and she had white pants on. And so she was stuck. How's she going to walk through the lobby and all this, with these soiled clothes back on? So all she needed was somebody to take her room key, follow her directions, go up and get the new clothes that she needed and bring them down. Simple, right? And so that prayer, because it was a prayer, even though we might not think we're actually praying, our thoughts are prayers, right? And we're thinking, boy, do I need a fresh set of clothes, right? And even that can be a prayer, a kind of asking for help, right? A kind of offering to the universe what it is that we need. When we have the courage to ask for help, it opens us up to relationship. It strengthens our relationship with Spirit, and it strengthens our relationship with each other in ways we have not yet seen, because the answers don't get revealed to us often immediately. Sometimes they do, but sometimes it takes a little time, right, for those answers to come back to us, for this simple idea of asking for help. And how hard that is for so many of us. How many struggle to ask for help? Anybody? Yeah, a lot of you, including me. But I'm getting better at it because I realize what there is in all of that gifts that are in that, the gifts that connect us, that build relationship one to another, whether it is with each other, the human family, or our plant and animal kingdom, or the essence of spirit that runs through it all. It's all strengthening by this simple request for help. You'd never know it, right? You'd never realize what strength and courage are in there, what gift can be given to the helper as well. And help often comes in these earthly ways, right? So here I am telling you about this experience. It's like it doesn't get any more like lowly human experience, right, than the sort of a bodily release. And there's more to that prayer or this process that I'm going to tell you in a few minutes. But first, I'm just thinking about how we often have these expectations when we pray that the answer is going to come in some amazing way, like the song that came through to you. Sometimes it does, right? But I think more often than not, we expect that the answer is going to show up like lightning, or, the voice of Charlton Heston is going to like boom somewhere, Or that somehow it's going to be, maybe in our own version, like all of our chakras will light up, right? Or we'll start to see auras all of a sudden, or whatever it is that we think is sort of that higher plane, that transcendental answer that tells us, oh, it is the holy, it is the godness that is answering me. And yet the holy shows up in so many mundane, everyday ways, right? The miraculous is actually simple, right? It's everyday miracles. And that's what really grounds our prayers when we recognize that. Grounds it in the everyday humanness. Therefore, we can begin to see the miraculous everywhere present when we recognize that our humanity is also divine, that our earthly experience is just as much a heavenly experience. And prayer is the link, the linchpin between the two. Prayer is the way that we begin to see that when we give ourselves over, when we ask for help, something so simple. So there was an old story, you've probably heard it before, of a guy that there's a flood going on in the neighborhood. And so he goes over on the top of his roof. And somebody, neighbors come by and they're in a canoe, and the water's getting pretty high, and they say, "Hey, get in the canoe, we'll save you." And he's a very religious man. He says, "Oh no, I've said my prayers, God is coming to save me." And then along comes a motorboat with some more people, right? You know where this is headed. And they say, "Get in the boat, we'll save you." And he said, "Oh, no, the water's getting higher now. No, I've prayed to God, and God's going to come save me." Pretty soon he's at the peak of the roof, getting close to the chimney, when a helicopter comes and unfurls a rope, and they say, "Grab a hold of the rope, we'll pull you in, we'll save you." "Oh, no, it's okay. I've prayed, God's going to save me." Of course, he drowns. And he goes to heaven and he says to God, "I prayed and you didn't, what happened? You didn't help me." And God said, "What do you want? I sent you a canoe, I sent you a motorboat, I sent you a helicopter." But it's just so often that we don't always look in that way, in that direction. See in the very simple exchanges the richness, the beauty, the answered prayer that is there for us. It's like missing the boat is missing the holy in the every moment. My mom has she's really long on common sense and conventional wisdom. And sometimes I'm just like, looking for the deeper meaning in things. And I'm talking about something, I'm really thinking I got something here. I'm looking for the metaphor or the metaphysics of it all. And my mom will just say something really like in plain English. And it'll be like the hallelujah, chorus of angels are singing. I'll be like, "Oh, right. That's really profound." But it's really super, like Captain Obvious, right? And so it's in that sometimes that there is, if we can just sort of let go of kind of the spiritual path can kind of get us tangled up a little bit. You know what I mean? It's in this sort of complicated expectation. And so instead we can just sort of come open, come empty, come humble by just asking and receiving and allowing and paying attention to what comes in response. So the prayer of help has really two parts to it. One is the asking, and the other is the surrendering. In Matthew 7:7, the scripture says, "Ask and you will receive. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be opened. And so it is simply that, in the asking and then the giving over. I realized just yesterday, as I was preparing this talk, how much my prayers have help in them. I wouldn't have known that until I started paying attention. I was like, I'm always asking for help. I'm always asking for the right words. I'm always asking for the right decisions. I'm calling the unseen helpers to be with me, to walk with me, to bring wisdom. It's really kind of like a constant prayer of help. And I'm thinking maybe your prayers have more help in them than perhaps you realize as well. And so it does seem like it brings us back to this really kind of simple foundation. I'm so grateful for this little guide that Anne Lamott has put out and the simplicity and the beauty and the groundedness of this idea of asking for help. So one of the keynotes at the convention was Maggie Cook Garcia. Her story is amazing. The theme this year was One Humanity, Many Stories. And if I knew your story was the subtext, I couldn't help but love you. And that's so true, when we know somebody's stories, how easy it is for us to pass quick judgment. But if we really knew that person's story, we couldn't help but love them. And so it's just this, so a lot of the keynotes, of course, had, rich story in them. And Maggie Cook Garcia's story is so rich that she just had to kind of skip over big chunks. So I don't have her story in full, but she had just come back from Hollywood, and they're making a movie about her story, and there was so much in it, they're also making a mini-series. But she grew up in an orphanage in Mexico, and the conditions were so bad, the abuse so rampant, she didn't get into it, but obviously it was terrible. And she said there were times when the kids didn't eat for 2 to 3 weeks at a time. So she and her brothers would hunt in the surrounding forest to and come up with any kind of materials they could to catch animals and other things that they would be able to eat so they could survive. And at one point, she started playing basketball, and she got really good. And so she had this what looked like it was going to be a really lucky break. The Mexican nationals were going to recruit her to be part of this pro basketball team. And just before that, her brothers had gotten their first American football. And they were playing football, and she joined them, and in that process, she broke her collarbone. So one of the adults that was at the orphanage or in the area, grabbed her by the shoulders, and they said, all of your dreams have just died. And she said, not only did it hurt physically, the way he was holding my shoulders, but of course, it hurt emotionally. But it did not stop her. She continued to ask for help, whether she was actually aware of asking for help in her prayers or not. There was a kind of openness to possibility that kept opening the door for her, seeking, and then we will find, right? So somehow she ended up in the U.S., and she was playing basketball with some other kids. Some of the kids ended up over in the U.S., and it wasn't clear how they got here or how long they were here. But a person who was connected with a university in Virginia saw her playing basketball and said, I want her on my team, and I'll give her a full scholarship. So she got to go to university, and she studied interior design. She graduated, couldn't find a job, and became homeless and lived in the forest. Then somebody found her and offered for her a place to stay. And she was really good at making salsa. And so she started selling it to her friends, started giving it to her friends, and it was so good that people started buying it. So she started selling it to her friends to make a little money. And then she got a divine idea that she could start making fresh salsa and giving it to supermarkets, because everybody was cooking their salsa back then. All the salsa that you would see on the supermarket shelves was cooked. She said, why not fresh salsa? So she started calling. She made a list of 100 different supermarkets. And she said she wrote their answers right next to it as she called each one. And so she had 99 no's. And the last one she called was Whole Foods Market. And she didn't get anyone. She left a message. And so she was in her car. I'm not clear if she was living in her car at that point or what, but the next day she gets a call. She couldn't believe it. It was Whole Foods. And they said, we're interested in learning more. How can we hear more? And she said, when's your next meeting? They said, 9 a.m. tomorrow. She had to drive, and she said, great, I'll be there. Except the only way she'd get there was to drive all the way through the night because she was that far away. So she said, I didn't care if I was tired. I came with my samples. She said, I walked in, the whole room was men. She was really, intimidated, and she just gave her products, and she just waited. And she said they were just talking amongst themselves, and she couldn't hear them. So she's just waiting very uncomfortably. It reminds me of that movie Shark Tank, or that TV show Shark Tank. And then they look up and they said, your products are absolutely delicious. We'll take them. We'll take 10,000 pounds. She was so excited. She went back, and then she realized she didn't have any money. And you need money to buy tomatoes and onions and everything else you need for a fresh salsa, right? So she had an idea. So she asked her friends, if you would loan me the money, I'm gonna call Whole Foods and see if they'll pay me in a week, and I'll pay you back in a week. So she got $20,000 from her friends, and Whole Foods paid her in a week $40,000. And so she would keep reinvesting in the business in this way. Eventually, fresh salsa became the thing, right? In all the supermarkets, Sam's Club, Walmart, she was the one who was the first one in all those places. So she went from orphan to millionaire very quickly. She sold her company to Campbell's, and now she's doing some really beautiful work, like rescuing children from drug cartels in Mexico that are in orphanages. And I mean, this woman is a tough, tough cookie. But one of the stories she told really stood out for me, and it was that the process of getting that first shipment to Whole Foods of the 10,000 pounds of salsa. So she made all the salsa, got all the help to make it, and then it was like, how am I going to get it there? So she needed a truck to get it there. And so she came up with this she found this old jalopy that she could afford. And so the side view mirror was duct taped to the side of the truck, that when she rode, the seat went, and there was all kinds of funky things like that in the truck, right? And so she said when she tested it, it was a standard. When she tested it, she drove it on level ground. But this was West Virginia. So once she got going and she needed to go make the shipment, she was going up hills like this. And so up these hills she's going, and back she's sliding, right? And so she said the other difficult thing about all of this was that not only was it hard to be shifting and keep going forward, but she's so short she couldn't reach the pedals. So she had to pull herself as hard as she could and hold herself on the steering wheel just to reach the pedal, and then try to quickly move over and shift and get back to the steering wheel. So you can imagine, I mean, I've had not that exact experience, but if you've ever had an experience of not really knowing how to drive stick shift, I've had that experience before. And it is really scary, like rolling back and thinking you're going to hit the person behind you and so on. So she finally makes it up this hill, and she pulls over just to kind of catch her breath, right? And she's got a long way to go yet to make it to Whole Foods. And so she's like just taking a pause and looking around, and there is that, seek and ye shall find, right? So she's looking around, and suddenly something shows up, a block of wood. And then she remembers she has a roll of duct tape. And so she duct tapes the block of wood to her foot so she can reach the pedal. And then on the way, the gas line breaks, and so it's dripping gas, and so she has to stop every 45 minutes, I guess it was, and get gas. And so then she said she has to go to the trucker side, so every time she gets out, she's doing this. How's it going? She said she got used to it, just got over it, But it's that, in those times, and you think about just one woman's life, all these experiences that she's had of needing help, of desperately needing help, and just that ability to turn it over, to be resourceful, to allow ourselves to connect with the divine mind and divine ideas come. Whatever it is that we might need can show up for us in the seeking, in the willingness, in the asking, in the knocking on the door. And so whether we knock on the door of our neighbors, or we knock on the heart of God right here, or we knock into the allness of God by saying, please help, it opens the way. It opens the possibilities for us. So surrender, the second part of this prayer of help, really starts with help, right? It's the first step in surrender. When we ask help, we open ourselves up. We give over. That's what surrender is in spiritual terms. It's not giving up, but giving over. And so we give over to the greatness, to the allness, to the possibilities, to the mundane, to the earthy answers, to the people around us, to the things we can't even imagine the ways that the help might show up. We just give it over. We just ask and give it over. You know, all the mystics talk about surrender. St. Teresa of Avila, in her mystical masterpiece, The Interior Castle, has a one-word sentence: surrender, period, space. Because it's the essence, that giving over is the faith walk, isn't it? And so we can begin with help, and that opens the way. Help, I need help. I need something, I need to call upon the allness of God, something bigger than me, the source of God, the source of all, the source of me. And then the answers will rush in various ways if we just stay open. It's a lot easier to receive the help if we stay empty-handed, you know, if we stay open, ready to receive. How many of us give it over and then take it back, give it over and then take it back? Oh yeah, I'm going to turn that problem over to God. Well, but what if I did this? Or what if I did, well, I'll just do this and that and A, B, and C, and then we'll see what happens. You know, and so it is, instead of that wanting and grasping for control once again, to just turn it over. And if we have to, turn it over again. Because the answers will and do come. The pause might be longer than we want it to be. Because most of us want immediate answers, right? But that long pause, not to be afraid of that long pause, right? To stay with it, to allow it, to be in that hallway of uncertainty. It's oh so hard for us humans to do this, isn't it? And yet, when we do it, haven't you seen how it works for you? When you wait for the right thing, when you allow yourself to just wait empty-handed, open-minded, open-hearted for the answers to come. And in they come, in their own time. Karen Taylor Good, the New Thought musician, sings, "I don't always get what I want, but I get what I need." And so sometimes it doesn't come exactly as we would like it in the exact package that we think it should come. But often we get something better, something that we need in a whole new way. So I had walked into the Serenity Room, which was a little room at the convention where you could go and get a chair massage, or other kinds of energy practitioners were there. And I was just wanting a chair massage, and I had 30 minutes. And I walked in, and nobody was there except for this woman who was standing next to a gravity chair with a big screen with funky sort of meditative, colorful images on it, and a computer. And so we were talking about the chair massage, and she was trying to tell me where I could go to find the chair massage therapist. And I said, well, what do you do? And she started to explain this brain health kind of program that she runs. And I was like, that sounds interesting. Why don't I try that? Because what I really recognized, and what I'm getting better at every day, that is an affirmation, is being present to what is right now, what is right in front of me right now. You know, what is here and available? Who is here in front of me right now? You know, a lot of times going to the convention, it's like a big part of it is also, you know, reconnecting with old friends. But instead of being in that position of, you know, looking for my old friends, this time I just was with whoever was in front of me. And so I ended up meeting new people, or even inviting new people to meals that I wanted to get to know, just to be present to what was in the moment. And then great things unfold when we do that. It's so simple, really. And I think we do that with prayers, right? We're kind of, you know, looking for the thing that we think we need, and we miss what's right in front of us. You know, the answer that's right in front of us, the gift that's right in front of us, the person that's right in front of us. And so if we just slow down and be present to what is, the help is there. The answers are there. The solutions are right here. So I ended up doing this brain, I forgot what it was even called, brain neuropathy kind of thing. And after I finished, she said, now tonight you might either have really restful sleep, should have told me this before, or crazy dreams. And so I had crazy dreams. And interestingly enough, my crazy dreams were about all kinds of bodily release. So it was kind of a gross dream. if you will. But I thought, well, how interesting then that the next day I walk into the bathroom and somebody is needing help who's having a bodily release problem. You know, God could not make this stuff up any better. So it's like, lest you forget about your dream and this process, let me give you a real life example. And get to be on the other side of it, right? To get to be not the one seeking the help, but the one helping. So it also made me realize that I am on both sides of the situation I was holding while I was doing this brain work and releasing stress and concern and worry, which are the kind of the lower levels that show up. In this work, apparently the lower levels show up for a while, and you retrain your brain when the music skips to come back into alignment, So eventually your brain is clearer and permanently trained to better clarity and better focus. Sounds like a good program to me, huh? 30 minutes or less. No, you have to do multiple sessions. But so, what's that? Don't? Yeah, right. It's a good start, though. But you know, it was that recognition that things show up for us in these ways, and that it's always present for us. There's always an answer to that help, whether it comes in whatever order it comes to us. So this connection is really key. That we're connected to one another. And so my connection to this woman was a great gift to me, to be able to help someone. That just feels good right in and of itself. But then there was more to it because it was really echoing something I was working with. And so she came up to me the next day profusely, expressing her gratitude and how she's not good at asking for help, and she just didn't think to just yell out to somebody in the bathroom, but she was so grateful that I offered her help and so on. And I was like, oh, geez, no worries. It was no big deal at all, And we just parted. And a few minutes later, I was like, you know what? It was a big deal. So I ran after her, and I said, you know what? Actually, it was a big deal. And I'll tell you why it was a big deal, because I also was having all these dreams and I was working through something. And so it gave me this opportunity. And so, because I wanted her to know that it wasn't an isolated incident of her needing help and someone coming to her aid, because it never is. It never is. We do not operate in this world in isolation. We forget that so often, I think. That's why we don't ask for help, right? Because we think, well, I can do it. I'll do it by myself. I'll figure it out. Why? When you have all these people who would love to help you, and it would help them to help you. See, we never know. We don't always know how we've helped somebody unless they tell us or somehow it comes back around to us. But it doesn't really matter. We can just know in our hearts that we are indeed somebody's something at any given time, When we give up our seat on BART, or we're the one who comes along with the boat or on the side of the road, or when we help somebody with their groceries, or we say a kind word or give a hug or smile. It's just simple things can be an answer to somebody's prayer, a profound effect on somebody's life. So our prayers are not one way. They're not we as a lowly human praying to the greatness of God. It is we in this process together with the activity and the asness of God, that we are that, and everyone around us is that too. So don't confuse, the lowly experiences, the mundane experiences of life with the transcendent miracles, because they're all one and the same. And a call of prayer, a call of help, is what initiates those possibilities, all coming together in this interconnected web. So, what do you need help with in your life right now? Is there something you need help with in your life right now? I would encourage you to pray the prayer, help. And then just turn it over. And then just let it go. And then just allow whatever wants to come through in this beautiful, amazing, interconnected world to happen. Don't get in the way of it. Don't try to pull it back. Just sit in the openness with open hands and open mind and open heart and see what could come, what we could possibly experience that we might cut off if we cut it off too soon. So I encourage us to just pray the prayer of help this week and and see the miracles that will abound. Let's know this together in this affirmation. Together, I pray help, and something delivers what I need, and so much more. And so it is.
This next song was a song where we needed help. We were singing last year in October in Arizona, and the minister said, I want a song to be about I talk to God in my heart. And we had written a song like that. So we prayed for help, and it flowed right through us. And it's perfect for this service today. So this is I Talk to God in My Heart.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So many lessons I have left to learn, 'cause my mind can feel the fire burn. So I stop and listen to the trees, and for God's healing whisper in the breeze. Close my eyes, go deep within. Every day, that's where I start. Breathing slow and listening. I talk to God in my heart. When I get home really late at night, I thank God for this divine insight that loves in every heart and hand, reaching out for me to understand. Close my eyes, go deep within. Every day, that's where I start. Breathing slow and listening. I talk to God in my heart. As I walk on the sacred path with the sun upon my face, I rise above the rocky ground to the endlessness of God's grace. Close my eyes, go deep within. Every day, that's where I start. Breathing slow and listening. I talk to God in my heart. I talk to God in my heart. I talk to God in my heart. Hello, God.
So you know how it's fashionable to get to a party late? Well, we're going to do our prosperity celebration a little late. I was supposed to pop up before then, but don't tell anybody. So, hey, it's time for our prosperity celebration after I talk about the prayer chaplains. So our prayer chaplains are available after this service to provide personal prayer support. If you're a prayer chaplain serving today, please stand. Oh, thank you. Our prayer chaplains wear the lavender stoles. Whether you have a joy or a concern in your heart today, praying with our prayer chaplains is a powerful opportunity to have your intentions raised up in consciousness. So thank you, my friends, for doing this service for us. And now it's time for our prosperity celebration. Now let's open our hearts to the practice of giving. I invite you to prepare your gifts as we align with the universal law of circulation. As we give, we shall receive. In truth, there is no lack or limitation. Abundance is our true nature. Repeat that with me, please. Abundance is our true nature. Yeah. For your convenience, there are a variety of ways to financially give to this community. For electronic giving, you can download an app on your smartphone called Give, G-Y-V-E, or take an envelope from the clipboard in the back of each chair. Those of you at home can click on the Give Here or Donate button on the Watch Live page. And now I ask that you take your tithe or your offering in your hand and repeat our information with me. What do I do? Really? I invite you to take your tithe or your offering in your heart. God, it's really weird to be standing up here and everybody knows what's going on except me. We don't need it. I took care of it. Okay. And repeat with me. Our affirmation. We're going to say our affirmation? Yeah. Okay. All right. 1, 2, 3. Divine love, one with me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am joy-filled and grateful. I love Unity.
See how we help each other? Wow, and that was instant manifestation, too. That is cool stuff. Thank you, God, for the abundant good that continues to move through our community in joy and laughter, in the simple prayer of help. Let us bless this good together. We give thanks for the ever-increasing, unceasing flow of absolute good in our lives now. So it is.
We are marching in the light of God. 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 We are marching, marching, we are marching, marching, we are marching in the light of God. We are marching, marching, we are marching, marching, we are marching in the light of God.
Hello.
So we made some art today. Anyone want to tell them what we made?
We made sunshine art.
Yeah. For summer solstice, right? And what do our suns remind us of? What do they say? Anyone want to share?
I shine like the sun. I am a light of this world.
Yes, I am a light in this. Does anyone want to share how they are a light in this world?
I'm a light in this world because I help other people. I'm the light of world because I help.
Who else? Anybody else? Happiness, smiles, high fives. Right? You are the light in this world.
Don't you just want every child in the world to have this experience? Let's hold that. Let's hold that vision that every child in the world will have this experience. Let's bless our children and our teachers together. Together, children, youth, and teachers, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the divine light within you. And now I invite you to take your neighbor's hand as we close out with the prayer of protection and the peace song. Together, the light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. The presence of God watches over us. I am presence. Wherever we are, God is. I am divine.
1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3.
The light and the love and the peace on earth right now. So let your light shine and have fun.
David Brooks. Go, Brian.
Larry Curtin on drums. Bring it home, boys.